Don't forget to click that subscribe and bell icon to receive a notification each time I upload a new video. Hi everyone, it's Mike here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So it's time for our first mid-month mini mission inspiration over on our Mission Inspiration Facebook group. So this month the prompt for the mid-month was a little birdie. There you go. So let me turn over to my overhead camera and I'll show you what I'm going to create in my tag journal for 2023. Okay, so here's the prompt card for January, a little birdie. Okay, so let's just pop that to one side. So the first thing I need to do is to unpack my tag journal for the year. There we go. Now if I keep that safe, I might be able to use that again. No, I'm not cheap. Okay, so I haven't taken the protective covers off the journal yet. So let me do that now before I forget, because each one comes with a protective blue or white, depending on what stockist I've gone to for my acrylic. That pulls straight off there. So there's still a blue cover on the back, there's one on both sides. Literally just peel that off. Oh, look, so shiny. You can actually see my ring light above my desk, look. Which one? There it is. There you go. It's like a halo. Oh. Right, so first thing then, I'm going to use the MDF back to create my tag for the month. So I have this piece of watercolour rag. So this is the rag stuff that is made from old t-shirts. So it's pure cotton rag. It's absolutely wonderful stuff. Now then, am I going to be able to see where I've gone with this? Sometimes I think these pens are working, but they're not. I should be able to scratch into the surface for this. There we go. Yeah, I can see where I'm going. There we go. So I'm going to just cut it out by hand. I'm not even going to be, or even try to be too exact with this one. So I'm going to free myself from the burden of trying to be perfect this month. In fact, probably this year. So I'm not really going to be concerned with, with getting everything just right. If things are a little bit off, things are a little bit handmade, then so much the better. Try and kind of just loosen up a little bit. Is that a Mr. Bentley I can hear? Hello, darling. You coming in? No? Okay. Back to bed then. Right, so that's the journal or the actual page cut out. I just want to make a quick... It is a little bit bigger, but that's because I've used the outside. So I just want to make a quick mark just so I know where the hole's going to go. In fact, well, I'll just use the pen just to work through, because I don't know what's happened to my pokey tool. It's disappeared. It's been put away. Yeah, and we all know what that means. Okay, so there's my tag. Now I deliberately cut my prompt card to the size where it is going to fit onto the back of the tag, so that I've got a record of what my prompt was. There you go. So I did that deliberately. Obviously, if you print yours out, you can print it to whatever size you need to fit if you want to record, like I do each month. Okay, so when I was thinking about little birdies, my mind immediately went to my most favourite motif with a birdie on it, which is William Morris's Strawberry Thief pattern with the bird. So I've just got a quick picture of it on my phone here. This is actually from some bedding that I've got. So as you can see, that's the one with, I'm trying to tilt it so you can see it without getting the ring light on it. But he's actually got the strawberry in his mouth. So what I did was I got some tracing paper and I laid it on top of the bedding, and I did a trace of the pattern, just like that. And then I brought it over and I went, look, it's too big. It won't fit onto my tag. So what I had to do was I've had to reduce it down. I took a photograph of that as well, and then just printed it, isolated it on my computer, and then just basically just printed it the right size, because I'm not going to be good enough, or I don't think I'm going to be good enough to actually get this drawn by hand, just about see through the paper, but I don't think I'm going to be good enough to be able to get that done perfect. So what I want to do is I want to cut this out, but I'll do that in a little while. The other thing I want to do is I want to try and prepare my background. So I need some gesso on this. I've got some white gesso, bit of a paintbrush. So let's grab some gesso and I'm just going to give that a bit of a wash. But I'm not going to be too perfect. Like I said, that's not the byword. Perfection is not the word for 2023 by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, so we'll get a coat of white gesso. Clear gesso would work just as well. But I suppose depending on what colours you're wanting to do your bird in, you could even do black. Do a black birdie. Why not? Why not indeed? Okay. So I'll just pop that to one side for now. I forgot to get some water because I was so intent on getting everything ready. I've even forgot to put out my hot air gun. Look, talk about preparing to fail. Right, there we go. That works. Okay, so that's just started to curl a little bit, but it's not too bad. I can always just work against that. Right, let's just pop that to one side. I'm going to decorate the back and probably create a title cover for my journal. God, that's a bit tight. Later. Let's just work on this tag for now. Right, so I want some paint. So we're going to add a wash of translucent paint. I'm just going to, oh look, I've just pulled that off. Oh, good job. It's not too difficult just to get your nail underneath it. If you've got nails, that is. Right, so this is an indigo blue colour. So this is purple, which isn't really my forte, but it's a nice kind of eggplanty, plummy colour, which is fine. So I'm just going to do a wash over the page and use it almost as a watercolour. It is acrylic, but because it's translucent, it will kind of work very similar to a watercolour when you water it down. And of course, because I've gessoed the tag as well, then it won't soak straight into the paper, so you've got a little bit of time to manoeuvre just to get a little bit of a ground down on there. There we go. So I'll get this cleared up, get this dried off. Okay, so that layer is dry, But I've also got this other bluish tealy colour, in fact it's called Teal for Two. Just put my phone on silent, there we go. And I'm going to grab some of that as well. So this is kind of like a tealy green, but also a little bit of a blue colour. There we go. And I'm just going to create some washes of that. Like I said, I never kind of over plan these things. I just see what kind of happens in the moment. I think sometimes it's more fun that way. A little bit more water, just to kind of here we go, that'll do. Right, get that cleared up, get that dried. Okay, so that's dry. I've dragged out one of my stencils. So this is another translucent paint. And I'm just going to grab some from the lid and drop that down to the worktop. This is Leather Corset. Again, indigo blue paint. I've just had them out on my worktop, so I'm just going to use what I've got rather than go and raking for something else. Right, so I'm going to just soak that up on the sponge, but I think I want a little bit more water. I want it kind of diffused, not quite wet. So this time I'm going to just add a little bit in that background. I just want a very kind of subtle, almost non-existent effect. Just, oh, yeah, I suppose that'll do. I think it maybe is a little bit too wet. I'm just looking around to see where my kitchen roll's gone. Right. Let's just lift that up. Obviously that's not worked very well, has it? I think it's too wet to go through. But do you know what? I kind of like that distress it's given me. So I might just add a bit more of that on. Very subtle. In fact, let me just take a little bit more of that. A bit more water. Crinkle that wet wipe up. That's probably because the gesso's on there. There we go, that'll do. Fingers like a dirty protest now. Right. Okay, so that's all dry, and I've just joined with you. I've already started just to cut my little birdie out. Now, I'm not trying to get right up close to the lines. If there's a little bit of a white line showing, then that's okay for me. I will go back and just go around those and claws on the feet a little bit tidier in a little while, but I just wanted you to see that I am actually cutting this out. I thought I might as well show you it while I was doing it, rather than just show you a fait accompli, if you know what I mean, when it was already done. So, right, I will whiz off and finish doing this, because it's difficult to talk and concentrate on not cutting the legs or the tail off at the same time. So I'll be back momentarily. Okay, so I've just pulled a leg off. I pulled one of the claws off. It's fine. It's not a problem. Well, it is a problem, but it's not a huge insurmountable problem. So I'm just going to try and get in between those there and those there. So yeah, I always do like to show warts and all if I can. So there we go, that sits just nicely on there. Now what did I do with the leg? I may have just accidentally also thrown that away. I can find it in a little while, that's not a problem. Right, so something else you don't see me do very often, and that is go back and alter something I've already done. I'm not liking this background, so sorry. So it's going. I'm sat there looking at it thinking, no, don't like it, I really don't like it. So yeah, it's got to go. But that's okay, because that's the whole point of doing something like this, is that you can change your mind and you can just paint over it and you can just start again. Because, you know, you're in charge. You're the boss. The police aren't going to knock at your door if you say, no, don't like it, and you want to try again. Or I could just, you know, throw it in the bin, get another piece of watercolour cardstock and start again. But no, let's not waste. That'll do. Okay, so back on with the gesso. Get that dried off again. Okay, right, I'm coming back with that teal colour because I like the teal colour. I like the teal colour a lot, so I'm going to take the teal colour because I've only got myself to please and nobody else, and teal is one of my favourite colours, teals and turquoises. And like I said, I've only got myself to please, so that's what I'm doing. Cool, okay. Happier now. Okay. Haven't used a great deal of paint on that. Okay, right. Gesso, sponge. Yes, we're back with the gesso. I'm going to need a little bit just taken from the tub. Probably far more than I actually need. Again, that's okay. Right, what did I do with that stencil? There it is. So this time I'm going in and I'm just doing circular motions. this time I'm getting a little bit more of a subtle effect. And I'm holding it quite tight down. There we go. That's a bit better. Just fade that into that. And like I said, it's a subtle kind of effect that I'm going for. I'm not going for anything too heavy. It's fine. Yeah, then what did I do with that? That'll do. It's only because I'm going to end up getting my jumper sleeve or sweater sleeve or elbow in that paint if I don't tidy it up. Okay, let's just bring that birdie in again now. So this time I've got the perfect size for that birdie, so that's going to fit on there now. I did want to try and find the bit where I'd cut off its leg, but I think I may have inadvertently tossed it into the bin. Do you know what? You know, it's one of them things. Right, so I'm going to glue this down onto the tag. Bit of matte medium. Just a bit of shake, just to make sure it's not separated or anything. Not a lot left either. Right, I need a different brush, smaller brush. Okay. You notice how the gesso dried really quickly. Right, so I'm going to add a little bit on the back. This will just prevent or mitigate as many kind of wrinkles or bubbles as possible when we actually stick it down. There we go. Let's try and bring it down a little bit. And I can go over the top, which is then going to seal that paper. If you're wondering what the off-white colour is, when I photographed the tracing paper, because it's a slight off-white colour, that's exactly what it was. Okay, again, time for a tidy up. Bit of a wet wipe. Okay, let me have a tidy up and I'll be right back. Okay, so that's dry. So before I go any further, I just want to try and see if I can just draw in that kind of missing toe. There we go. Just kind of helps it balance it a little bit. Right, okay, so what I want to do now is I'm going to add some colour to the birdie, but I want to kind of use the colours that were in that original illustration, that original drawing, if you like. So we've got kind of blues and greens in here, and the kind of a nice creamy colour with some oranges just underneath there, and obviously you've got that orange beak as well there. So that's what I'm going to be aiming for. Okay, so here's something you don't see me get out very often. I've got, just move that water pot out of the way. I've got my Derwent Colour Soft pencils. Definitely don't see me with these a lot. I need some scratch paper. Ooh. What have we got here? Something left over from Christmas. Not dark enough. That's better. Okay, so let me just start adding. Yeah, I don't colour very often at all. Okay, so a bit of yellow under there, and then we're going for some burnty kind of orangey colours up there. Now you see, a long time ago I had some spirit and a stump for blending these pencils, and for the life of me I can't find it. It's probably because I thought I don't use those very often, so I'm going to bin them, and that's probably exactly what I've done. Okay, so green. So let's just add a little bit of green. And I'm just using the photograph there as a kind of colour reference. I'm not going really dark. I don't really see the point in going too dark. There's not a lot of detail there anyway that I've drawn in. So let's just try and find a blue. See, I've got a couple of stumps there, but I don't know where the bottle of spirit has gone that I used for blending. But you know, and you can't use alcohol, not really. So let's get that yellow underneath the wing there. I'm kind of exaggerating the colours a little. Right, let's bring that orange in. And then we can bring that down. Almost go even darker, just towards the tops there, maybe a little bit more darker up there, because that's more in shadow up there. Right, I don't suppose that stump, no, it's not really blending all that well. In fact, if anything, it's actually polished it and given it a bit of a shine. That's probably because I've done it on top of the matte medium. Okay, so let's just come back with that lightish yellow, do a little bit just up there. And then take a real bright yellow for the beak. And then just under there, bit of darkness. There we go. It's not really dark, is it? See if we've got any other darker blues. In fact, look, there's a sea green there. as sometimes happens. Let's do a bit of that. Have I got a kind of sagey green? There probably is somewhere down at the bottom. What's this one say? Grey green. That's a bit too much like that one, isn't it? Let's go for that greeny green. Ah, yeah. There we go. Better. Let's use another stump. That's it. So it's kind of blending itself back into the background, isn't it? That's almost an exact colour for the background. Cool. Right, we've got a brown. Yes. So let's just do a little bit of shade. Bit of shade, bit of shade. Bit of darker shade under there. Maybe a little bit there. Just give it a little bit of dimension. Under the wing, maybe a little bit. Like I said, don't do colouring with pencils very often at all. I can't say that I'm very good at it. Right, so let's just start adding some of that bit of detail here. Just underneath. How's that? And then I've got like a peachy coral colour. Oh yes. Just on the top. And then we'll take that darker yellow. That's if we can. Yeah. Okay, so next thing, Stabilo All pencil. So let's just add a little bit of grounding underneath the birdie. And then we just need a little brush, little brush, a little bit of water. You'd never know that toe was missing, would you? So the Stabilo All pencil is a water-soluble crayon that gives you a really nice kind of shadow effect. And the more kind of water you add to it, the more kind of diffused it can get. So if I push that line there just down a bit, you see how it just starts to diffuse away. You can just take away some of that white that we left around the feet. Just like that. Okay, so I want to add a few other little bits. I'm not going to bother with the strawberry, just because. So let's get some white gesso, one blob, some paint, and then we'll just add, just using my hand as a shield, a little bit more, just a little bit more water I think. Let me just quickly get that dried off. Okay, so what I want to do is just add a kind of border around the tag. So I'm just doing a rough kind of squiggly border, almost, if you like pretend or faux zigzag stitching, but it just helps to kind of finalize and sort of consolidate the pattern. Like so. And then what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to add just some kind of little doodly dots, not black splatters, but just a little bit of something, a little bit of texture, just into that blue background, just to kind of help it along. And you can do as many of these or as few of these as you want, but I just think it helps just bring it all together, almost like the splatters, but this is a bit more controlled than just doing those random splatters. You see what I mean? Just kind of helps to create that backgroundy effect. And then just here I'm going to write somebody told me. Who? And that's it. That's going to be my art tag for January. So what I want to do is I'm going to flip that over, get some glue. Have I got a glue stick? Yes, I have. Get some scratch paper. So all of the prompt cards will be available on the Facebook page for you to download, save to your own computer and use in your own projects. I often get asked whether or not it's okay. Of course it is. You don't have to link back to the group, but it would be nice if you did. But there is a little bit of detail on each of the images anyway, so if you're showing that, then it kind of links back to where we are, doesn't it? So there we go. So that is my January art tag and the prompt, a little birdie. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me create my art tag for January. If you have, it would really greatly help the channel if you could click that thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. That's all from me for now. I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. And don't forget to check out your exclusive angel-only content over on my website. Thank you.